She is a detailed mixed media artist, bringing the art of embroidery to a new level. And he is an experimental visual artist, practicing the traditional and digital media. How did they begin? What is their story? They share their personal journeys straight from the art. The world of a young artist is fraught with a scale of factors that can jumpstart or hinder their growth in pursuing their passion. What does it take to showcase their works to the public? What are the platforms available? One emerging young artist whose works are gaining attention is Iana Suim. Iana's quirky works of art have caught the attention of the art community in Singapore as well as abroad, having exhibited in the Philippines, Taiwan and Japan.
I think I was very quiet, a little bit shy, not very into social activities. I like to read a lot. I drew a lot when I was younger, but I've never considered art as a career. I've always wanted to do other things.
Iana was not interested in art until she made an adventurous decision to enroll in the School of Art, Design and Media in Nanyang Technological University.
I've never studied art. I've never taken any art classes. So basically my first, real exposure to the art world was when I started art school in university. Yeah, previously I think I took like a few watercolor classes, but they're just very, random and not very serious about it. Yeah.
Iana majored in photography and discovered the detail art of embroidery while working on a final year project.
During my last year, for my final year project, I was combining embroidery with photography as well, taking a lot of family photographs and marrying them with embroidery. So from then, I started to felt a real affinity with this medium, and after that I thought I wanted to pursue embroidery and see what more I could do with it.
Embroidery is the art of decorating fabric or other materials with needle and thread or yarn. But why is Iana particularly drawn to this art form?
To me, embroidery is something that is present in almost all cultures in the world. Like it's something very intrinsic to the human society at large. Yeah, and a lot of people can relate very much to embroidery. It's something very tactile and it's something that can emote a lot.
As Iana delved deeper into her art, she was ecstatic to learn that embroidery holds a special place in her family.
Both my grandparents are actually embroiderers. They actually passed away before I could, learn from them. But when I started being more interested in embroidery, like my parents told me, your grandmother actually did embroidery before. So I thought, oh, wow, that's cool, Yeah, I wanted to kind of imitate their movements in that sense. I wanted to continue this tradition in the family.
Iana began to develop her own interpretations of the art, further exploring embroidery with other media.
I think it's a medium that I really feel for. It's something that I really want to explore, like combining embroidery with pencil drawings, watercolor. I'm trying to find ways that I could marry it with other mediums like video or sound. Yeah, I think that would be quite cool. So it's like for myself, embroidery is kind of like a stepping stone to kind of explore other mediums as well.
Iana describes the art of embroidery as slow and meditative, requiring a lot of patience. How has her passion impacted her relationship with the family?
Sometimes I will get my sisters and my mom to help me with the embroidery if I'm like rushing for a project, So in a sense, they're actually together with me in this journey of making the work itself, and they will ask me what's this work about, this kind of thing. So I think there's a greater understanding, I suppose.
Iana ni seorang yang terlalu mungkin prihatin. Dia akan kalau seninya tu tak begitu boleh dikatakan baik, tapi pada kita dah baik, tapi bagi dia akan buat 2-3 kali untuk mendapatkan mutu yang dia inginkan. Nampak sulaman tu dia buat melalui edar semasa. Macam dulu kita sulaman setakat kita sulam di kain, bunga-bunga Tapi saya dapat lihat yang anak cik ni sulamannya agak berbeza sedikit. Jadi dari situ dengan perlahan-lahannya cik memberi galakan lah. Dan kadang-kadang ada juga idea-idea cik berikan kepada beliau lah.
What was a family's initial reactions to a career choice? Were there any objections?
Cik ingatkan dia akan menjadi seorang jurukamera wanita. Tetapi pada cik, kalau boleh biarlah ia cenderung ke mungkin ke pekerjaan lain lah, pekerjaan tetap. Dan alhamdulillah sangkaan cik tu dalam dia lepas bersekolah tu di universiti, rezeki dia untuk meluaskan cabang yang dia minati ni datang dengan begitu mudahlah, mungkin dengan berkat usaha beliau.
I didn't really think that she was interested in this kind of thing, so I thought it'd be really interesting because it was a really different kind of industry compared to like a normal like 9-to-5 job or something. Yeah, but I was really curious as to what kind of job that she would get in the future, because it's not exactly a really stable job to have, just like what my mom said. So yeah, but I thought it was a really good thing to try. Obviously, I think she's a really good artist. But honestly, I really love her works, and it's so different from other artists. And I don't know, it's just really cool like what she does with embroidery and how she mixes different mediums. And I always like wonder what goes on in her mind when she does this kind of things. I hope she becomes a really, really famous international artist and get a lot of fans of her works, because I think she really deserves it, because she's so different from other artists. Yeah, I just hope she becomes really famous one day and earn lots of money.
After the break, join Iana at an exhibition that showcases young artists' works. And get to know another young artist whose works have gained attention locally and overseas. Iana is part of a trio who organized Pulse, an exhibition held at Maya Gallery that brings together 10 young artists to showcase their works to the public.
Pulse is basically about what comes from the heart, basically what comes from the heart of the young artists in Singapore. So Pulse was organised to basically provide a platform for young artists to showcase their artwork in a professional gallery setting. And from there we hope that in the future more galleries will be open to basically showcase artworks by young artists in Singapore. In Singapore, the art industry is still growing, it's still coming up. So from when we had all these talks, these small talks, and then we decided like, why not come up with a good idea of promoting these young artists in a gallery setting.
10 young artists showcased here. They're made up of fresh graduates, students, and also artists who have been practicing for a couple of years, but still considered like young, new artists. For a couple of the artists, it's actually their first exhibition, so that's very exciting.
Being young and relatively inexperienced, is there any competition between the artists featured?
Competition between the artists, you
I don't think so. I mean, they're all from different mediums and they have all this different uniqueness and creativity that we want to portray. So if you're talking about competition, the art competition is always there. In any industry, there's always a competition. But what we want to feature is basically the creativity, the artistry, as well as the uniqueness of all these young artists in Singapore.
I think it's great that from Pulse, actually all these artists who have never met each other, and they're all very young. So from Pulse, they actually got together and they interacted, and there's like friendships are built, and there's like exchange of ideas, also like opinions about art and stuff like that. So I think in the future, in the long run, this will help in the development of Singapore art scene.
How long did it take the three ladies to organize this exhibition? What were the challenges involved?
It's about
about 2 months, but it's not really easy. There's been ups and downs, you know, like there has to be a lot of dedication, commitment, time-wise. We have to manage really good, but all we have to do is, I guess, it's more to dedication and how you manage the time and communication, especially. Yeah.
I think the challenge for all of us is that it's a very concrete exhibition, but there's only 3 of us running the show, or running basically the background. But what happens is that for us, we are very, very grateful to have the professionals from Maya Gallery, making sure that we have the standard on a professional level and ensure that this exhibition will run successfully. And I think that is really, really amazing.
The guest of honor is Mr. Iskandar Jalil, a cultural medallion for visual arts recipient, to review the works of the young artists.
I think it would be a bit proud that your work being exhibited for the first time, but that's not the end. The end is still another 50 years. So you have to work harder and harder and then find new avenues, new materials, new medium. And don't be satisfied with what you have. What I need from you is total dedication and passion. If you don't have that, don't be an artist.
Another artist whose works were exhibited in Pulse is Daryl Go. Daryl constantly pushes himself to experiment with mixed media, creating unique pieces of art that are not just beautiful, but also thought-provoking.
When I was really young, I was quite a naughty kid. I like to do many things that people told me not to do. And early in the morning, I would wake up, disturb all my parents for paper and a pencil and go to the window and draw the cars that are going around the window. I remember doodling a lot and wasting a lot of paper as well, like drawing just a small aeroplane on that paper, and after that, when it's done, I chuck that whole paper and take another paper. My studying of art went back all the way to primary school, where I took art seriously in my PSLE exams. I represented my primary school in a national competition, and in secondary school I took art at O levels. In A levels I pursued art even further, and after that in the university I took art as well. So my whole childhood was filled with a lot of arts and different medias and disciplines of art.
Daryl was also brought up with an inclination to music, dabbling with interactive art and experimental sound design.
When I was at the age of 4, I started learning piano, and when I was in secondary school, I picked up the guitar, the drums, and I transited on to playing some contemporary keyboards. That was during the period where I was gigging with bands outside in the music scene as well, while dabbling into art in schools. So there was a huge influence of music in the craft of arts that I pursue. I would say that the industry has shaped my art tremendously, that now I've tried to move away from my sound and go straight on to pure visual arts, visual fine arts, whereby I try not to add elements that may not actually improve the work, because previously I had a mentality that adding different media to the work was actually helping the work. But essentially right now I've learned and matured that sometimes addition is not necessarily making the work better, and in a famous theorist's words, less is more.
Having tasted a wide range of art disciplines, how would Daryl describe his current artworks?
My work currently is generally a little bit more explorationary compared to the normal works that I see. That is due to my personal belief that I want to be different from the things that are out there. I think my works are generally accepted here first, because I have not been exposed as much as here as compared to overseas. So probably in the next 3 to 4 years I plan to expose my works to other continents in the world, like Europe, in London, and in Australia maybe, and also in Hong Kong.
Daryl has participated in numerous exhibitions locally and overseas, proving that age is not a factor in getting recognition in the world of art.
In the year of 2012, which is this year, is coming to an end, I have approximately about 11 exhibitions, not only in Singapore but in countries like Europe and Nottingham in the US. I also do have creative talk shows in the region, and all these exhibitions gave me very good exposure in the art scene. I got to learn about how things are done, how money changes hands in the process of buying art, how people are becoming more and more receptive to new medias and new ways of doing things in the arts.
After the break, join Daryl with his mother, who provides support and inspiration. And we visit the Affordable Art Fair, where Daryl gets another chance to showcase his work in the international arena. A source of inspiration and support for Daryl is through his mother, who is trained in graphic design.
I started doing freelance artworks from home when Daryl was in primary 2. Because I want to be at home, I feel that motherhood is better done with me being at home. I think Daryl has benefited to some extent. He has been watching over my shoulder, and then he has been trying, to tap on my computers when he was young, mess up some things, make some mistakes, but he learned. And till now, I'm still doing, but on a smaller scale.
I've taken over the ship. I was pretty curious at the time because my mom was doing something that I did not know how to do, and it was all dealing with lines, shapes, pictures, graphics, and it was something more interesting than whatever I was doing in school. I think a lot of influences and inspirations drew from those younger days where I was looking at things that I preferred to rather than doing something that I didn't want to do in school.
While Daryl has always been small in build, his huge zest for life is simply infectious.
In the class, he was always top 3 in being small. And then I remember he wanted to join some uniform cadets and all that. But they look at him, I know the expression, it's a bit difficult. So in the end, I approached the Boys Brigade, and then the Boys Brigade master says that they accept all shapes and sizes. Through the Boys Brigade, he learned guitar, because they had to learn one musical instrument. And at first, the guitar looks too big for him. But somehow he managed, For a while, he was also, there's a stage when he was very fashionable. He tried, all kinds of hairstyles, including one style that required him to always have to flick, But I think he has grown out of that.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Since mother and son have an eye for the visual aesthetics, who tends to be more critical of the other's works?
I do critique his works, and he doesn't critique my work because in my work I have to do most of the time what the client wants, not what I want. So it's a very different ball game.
I think it's great to have another critic at home, Like whenever I'm producing my works, before the works is out there, before the works is even finished in its production, I have a first filter of critic right here at home. And I think that is fantastic. Before getting grilled outside there in the industry, I get pre-grilled here to prepare myself for the industry.
I'm very happy when he gets a chance to show his works. Most of the time, I'm hands-off. If I had to do my criticism, is before the works are finished. Once it is finished, I will just leave it as it is, and he will go to the exhibition hall. How is he going to project his artwork in comparison with the rest? How is he going to progress in his works in future? I think I should leave it to him.
Daryl is given the opportunity to have one of his art pieces showcased at the Affordable Art Fair, an annual exhibition hosting a wealth of galleries and a huge array of contemporary art.
This sculpture is titled Plurality. It is inspired by performance architecture, whereby you see a lot of performances going in and out of architecture on stage. And I drew inspiration from such practices and placed them all into a sculpture like this. And hence this sculpture actually shows the amalgamation of the exterior space, but also the internal space. With the transparencies of the material, the reflectivity of the material, it all comes into one piece over here. I'm very surprised and pleasantly happy that this piece is here in the Affordable Art Fair. I did not expect it to be selected as part of this gallery show over here, but since it is here, I'll be more than happy to part with it to a buyer and a person who appreciates it more than myself.
The Singapore artists I represent are both emerging and also established artists. They tend to have a little bit more edge in the works that I pick. For example, with Daryl's work, it's very clean, but at the same time, when you look at it, you're thinking it's transparent, it's acrylic, it's clear, but when you have different light on the piece of work, it changes its shape, it changes its form. So there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye, and that's what I like about the artists that I represent.
So, what is it like working with Daryl?
Daryl is a great person to work with. He's a great artist and a great friend. He's very affable and he's very hardworking. I think a lot of people forget that there's a lot of work that goes into a piece of artwork. There is a lot of thought that goes behind it, from the time of conception to the time of production. So when you see a piece of artwork, I hope that people are able to realize there's all these thought processes that goes into it.
Daryl's recent work is pretty amazing because it reminds me with a human spine. That's what I see. That's just like amazing. So I don't know where did he get the inspiration from, but it's totally cool. Yeah.
And what are Daryl's plans for the near future?
Regarding my future plans, I'll still be doing the same practice I've been doing today. However, I plan to actually do it on a much larger scale by participating in more international fairs and art galleries and shows to expose myself more to new different practices and disciplines of this industry, and ultimately produce more works and sell more works.
With Singapore hosting more local and international art exhibitions, young artists like Iana and Daryl have a fair chance to continue their artistic practice and exhibit their artworks for the community to appreciate.